Hello everyone, I'm Kidasha. This is a charity organization which is running from last 20 years to help Nepalese children, and I have a group, I have CEO here and two board of members, and let's get some more information from CEO here.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm Janice Miller.
And would you like to say some more about Kidasha?
Yeah, Kidasha has been working in Nepal for 20 years, or no, almost 20 years. We've got a small team here in London that focuses on fundraising, and then we've got a larger team in Nepal, and all that team are Nepali apart from one. So we're not an organisation with lots of expats, and we work with children in crisis, basically children from the very poorest families that are living in very difficult circumstances. So a lot of those children are working, some of them are living on the street, some of them have been abused, some of them are suffering from violence, and the whole focus is how do we get those children into school, get them access to decent healthcare, get them protection from exploitation. We also increasingly are working with girls that have been subject to sexual exploitation, which is increasing sadly after the earthquake, as families are in quite dire circumstances and in some cases selling their daughters and without knowing what they're selling them into. At the moment I think there are 200,000 girls actually in Nepali girls in India working in brothels, and a lot of those girls have been sent there because unwittingly by their parents, thinking they're moving to a better life. And so we want to help all those children that are in crisis and to prevent them trying to get into those difficult circumstances. We have small office in London, and what we really want to do is to try and reach out to the Nepali community here to get them to understand some of the challenges that they face within their own, that other families face within their home country, and how can we get them to help. It's not about large amounts of money. If we can get a large number of Nepalis to give a small amount of money, we can make an enormous difference, and that's what we need. And I think all too often people give money to small charities in good faith, but often it's very short term. And what we need is, we believe in longer term development. For example, we had a health centre which was targeted at young children within a very poor urban community, and that health centre has just been handed over to the government. So that's really positive, because now the government are taking responsibility for that, and that's what we want to do more of. We want more and more that we build and we develop work and projects and services that then the government or the community take responsibility for. So we don't just go and build a school and then leave them. You know, we want to provide long-term solutions, basically.
And today is great, right? Having Nepal come to the UK, play at Lords, the home of cricket, is fantastic. And we want the message to go out to all the Nepalis here and also the rest of the world that you cover, and therefore they can support the charity, Kidasha. Find us, it's very easy to find, and hopefully you can help us. That's what we want to do.
A year ago, I'm sure, and there was a really big contribution from Kidasha as well.
Yes.
So do you like to say?
Yeah, and I mean, after the earthquake, it was very interesting because so many people rushed to want to help the country, and what we did was sort of step back slightly and said, what can we do to help the longer term recovery? Because the one thing what we didn't do was go in with immediate relief and aid, because we left that to the larger organisations. But what we're focusing on is the very poorest families, and after the earthquake those families are poorer than ever. So they were poor before, they're now even worse situations because they lost absolutely everything, and that increased the risk to their children particularly. So children, a lot of families moved away from their villages, they moved down to the city, but once they moved to the city the world wasn't any better. They just ended up living in slum situations, and so what we did was we identified those families and got their children into school. We helped them set up new homes. We supported particularly girls to go to school rather than have to stay at home to look after the younger ones. And so we were again looking at that longer term recovery rather than just going and doing the immediate building or rebuilding schools, etc. We wanted to provide that longer term support so that those families could rebuild their lives, because I think again it's not necessarily recognise just how much the very poorest suffer in those situations. They are the most vulnerable. They always are in normal life, and then after an earthquake it just gets 100 times worse.
So if your viewers want to know more, obviously there's lots of information given already. You can get information about Kidasha online. Go to our website, there's lots of information about the projects that we are delivering on, and if you want to make contact or if people want to make donations, they can do so online. It's very easy to do that, and if they want to get more information about us and work with us to develop the programs that we are delivering. Again, we'd love to hear from your viewers anywhere in the world so that we can build some bridges with Nepal communities elsewhere in the world or any other organisations that have an interest in the work that we're doing. So we'd really like to hear from people.
I just want to say one more thing. Many people say, what does Kidasha mean? Why are we Kidasha? It's because we're basically a UK organisation, so Kid as in child, slang admittedly, and Asha as in Nepali meaning hope.
Yeah.
So the rough translation of Kidasha is
we
child
were delivering projects well before the earthquake. As Janice is saying, the earthquake made things much worse, and we're trying to help people since the earthquake, but it is about long-term sustainable projects that will make the difference, particularly to children in the areas that we're delivering projects in.
We know that the community helps a lot, but the question is we wanted to make sure it's focused and not just a one-off contribution or one-off project. We want the people to do all the work that they've done before and continue to do it in a longer-term way. That's the
I'm
simple
sure
message.
like Kidasha is doing so good for the last 20 years, and this is a charity organization running really nice and help many children, as you say, and the women, and it will definitely go further. And I'm sure all the Nepalese viewers will definitely support Kidasha.